In the heart of a dense, sprawling wilderness, a remote wildlife sanctuary nestled between steep hills and towering trees, there exists a unique place where the forest and the savanna collide. It is a land where the earth is still wild, untamed and unknown. Here, animals roam freely, and nature's pulse beats with both ferocity and grace. This sanctuary is secluded from human civilization, with only the faintest hint of human presence in the form of discreet monitoring posts hidden deep within the trees. It is early morning when the first shafts of light cut through the canopy, casting an ethereal glow on the dense undergrowth. The air is thick with humidity, heavy with the scent of damp earth and the distant, faint fragrance of wildflowers. The sun barely breaks over the horizon, and the jungle feels alive, though still shrouded in mist. Each rustle in the underbrush, every slight movement in the trees, is a reminder that this place is a world of constant motion. Among the shadows of the trees, a solitary figure stirs. A young zebra, distinct with its crisp black and white stripes, cautiously steps from the edge of the forest, where the tree line gives way to a wide, open savanna. The air feels heavier here, the vastness of the plains stretching endlessly, inviting yet full of hidden dangers. The zebra stands still, its nostrils flaring as it inhales deeply. There is a low rumble in the distance, a reminder that the world beyond the sanctuary is a place where survival is constantly at stake. This young zebra, known only by the mark of its stripes, has recently begun to understand the complexities of the world it lives in. With the herd it was born into now a distant memory, it has learned to roam alone, often finding solace beneath the shelter of the forest's trees. There, the shadows provide a sense of security, but the open savanna holds the promise of freedom. As it moves deeper into the plains, it begins to feel the weight of isolation. The wind shifts, carrying with it a sound that grows louder, an unsettling, unnatural noise. A crunching, like something large moving through the dry grass. The zebra's ears flicker at the sound, the hairs on its mane prickling with unease. It halts for a moment, listening. The world around it seems to hold its breath. Suddenly, from the corner of its eye, a movement, a flash of dark fur. The zebra's body tenses. It knows the predator it faces, a lion, patient and calculating, its golden eyes gleaming from the underbrush. The lion, too, is aware of the zebra, its movements slow, deliberate. The tension is thick, as though time has slowed down to allow both creatures to measure each other, each aware that one wrong move could be fatal. But before the lion can close the distance, the zebra bolts, its hooves striking the earth in rhythmic, panicked beats. It races across the open plains, its body becoming a blur of motion, the wind whipping through its mane, its muscles stretched to the limit. The lion, startled by the sudden speed, hesitates for a moment, giving the zebra the precious time it needs to distance itself. As the zebra runs, it reaches the far edge of the savanna, where a dense thicket of trees marks the beginning of another territory. It slows, panting heavily, heart racing. For a moment, the sounds of pursuit fade, but the weight of its fear still lingers in its chest. There is a brief moment of calm before the reality sets in. This land is never truly safe. It is then that it hears another sound, an eerie, almost rhythmic thud. Not the heavy paws of a predator, but something more deliberate. The zebra looks up, startled, to see a shadow moving in the trees. Another zebra. At first, the young zebra is confused. It doesn't recognize this zebra. Its stripes are different, but the resemblance is undeniable. There's a subtle shift in the air as they circle each other, sensing the other's presence, the other's energy. The stranger's movements are calculated as though it is waiting for something. The young zebra hesitates but approaches, slowly, cautiously. As it draws closer, the newcomer stops, its body language signaling an unspoken invitation to follow. Curiosity outweighs caution. The young zebra steps forward, hesitant but drawn to the unknown. For a moment, they move side by side, their hoofbeats falling into an almost synchronized rhythm. There is an odd, graceful symmetry to their movements, as if they are dancing across the savannah, though neither of them seems to understand why they do it. But then, the ground beneath them shifts. Just a tremor at first, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The trees sway, and an unsettling vibration rumbles through the savannah. The young zebra stops mid-step, ears flicking nervously. The stranger, however, doesn't pause. It continues to move, almost as though it's beckoning the other zebra to follow. As the young zebra follows, its sense of unease grows. The vibrations in the ground become more pronounced, and the rhythm of the dance shifts. The stranger's steps grow more urgent, more purposeful. Its movements are no longer graceful but hurried. There's a change in the air, a subtle shift that makes the young zebra's heart race with instinctual fear. Then, out of the corner of its eye, the young zebra sees something it didn't notice before. The surrounding trees, once seemingly ordinary, are beginning to close in. The forest is moving. The world is shifting. In the distance, the unmistakable shape of a lion emerges from the shadows of the trees. Its eyes are locked on the zebras, and it begins to advance with the same calculated grace as before. But this time, the zebra is not alone. Suddenly, the other zebra veers off, running in the opposite direction, towards the safety of the distant hills. The young zebra, confused, watches as the stranger disappears into the trees. The lion, momentarily distracted, gives chase, its eyes gleaming with the thrill of the hunt. But in its wake, the savannah is eerily silent. The vibrations have stopped. The ground beneath the young zebra's hooves feels still, calm once more. The zebra stands motionless, heart racing, but no longer in pursuit. It is left to wonder whether the dance it shared with the other zebra was a test, a prelude to survival, or perhaps a reminder of the dangers that lie within even the most unexpected encounters. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the land, the young zebra stands alone once more, its hoofbeats fading into the evening wind. The mystery of the stranger's presence lingers, unanswered, and the savannah, with all its quiet danger, continues to pulse with life, as it has for countless generations. And in the distance, the lion's roar fades into the night, leaving the zebra with only the echo of a dance, one that, in the end, was a dance of survival. As the zebra stands alone in the twilight, the world around it seems to hold its breath. The warm light of the setting sun casts long, jagged shadows across the savannah, painting the landscape with hues of gold and orange. The once frantic pulse of the day seems to slow, but a gnawing feeling lingers in the air. The zebra's heart pounds in its chest, still unnerved by the chase, by the strange encounter with the other zebra, and by the lion's pursuit. For a long moment, it remains motionless, listening. The rustling of the trees, the distant calls of birds preparing for night, the soft crackling of dry grass underfoot. It all feels normal again, but there is a sense of disquiet that refuses to fade. The zebra looks back towards the direction where the other zebra had disappeared into the forest, but all is still. The forest, once alive with the promise of danger and the thrill of the chase, now seems eerily silent. Was it real? Was it an illusion? The zebra wonders, as it stares into the fading light, its eyes tracing the shifting shadows of the trees. There was something almost supernatural in the way the other zebra moved, its grace, its urgency. Something in the zebra's instincts tells it that the encounter was not purely a chance meeting. But what did it mean? The sudden creaking of a tree branch breaks the zebra from its thoughts. Its head jerks up, eyes wide. It feels the hairs on the back of its neck rise, a quiet warning. It stands still for a moment, waiting, listening, its ears flicking at every sound. The wind stirs, and with it comes the faintest scent of something familiar. The lion. The predator is near. The zebra's muscles tighten, its body prepared for flight. It knows the lion is no longer in pursuit of the other zebra. It must have turned its attention back to it. But still, the instinct to run, to escape, surges within it. The zebra takes a few slow steps backward, ready to retreat into the safety of the dense thicket where it can find shelter. But then it stops. A flash of movement catches its eye, a low, almost imperceptible motion, like the flick of a tail or a shift of the wind. For the briefest second, the zebra locks eyes with something moving on the horizon. Another figure, standing still, watching. Its stripes are distinct against the orange glow of the fading sun. But this is not the same zebra that danced beside it earlier. This zebra, different in form and movement, stands at the edge of the plain, its posture slightly more rigid, its eyes narrowed, with what almost seems like knowing. The zebra feels its heart rate spike again. It's not the lion that makes it tremble, but the realization that it's no longer alone, in a way it understands. The wind shifts again, carrying with it the distant call of the lion's roar, a reminder that the predator is not far off. But this new zebra doesn't flinch. It simply watches, unwavering, its head slightly tilted. The young zebra's legs tremble with the weight of the decision it must make. Should it run? Should it retreat into the forest once more, or should it confront whatever mystery the stranger represents? The zebra steps forward cautiously, its hooves sinking slightly into the soft earth, but as it moves, a sound rises from the trees, something low and guttural. A growl, perhaps, but not from a lion, from something else entirely. The ground trembles again, but this time the vibration comes from beneath the earth, deep and resonant. The zebra freezes. A deep rumbling shakes the ground again. The zebra's eyes widen as it suddenly realizes that the sound is not a predator's growl. It is the call of something much larger, something older. The trees above begin to sway, and through the thick shadows of the branches, a shadow passes, a vast, towering figure. A herd of elephants. But this is no ordinary herd. It's a procession, an ancient march, their massive bodies moving with a slow, steady rhythm. There is a calm in their movements, a collective purpose. The zebra stands frozen, watching in awe as the elephants move across the plain, their great forms casting enormous shadows on the ground. Their footsteps are heavy, yet measured, like the pulse of the earth itself. And in the midst of this solemn parade, the other zebra, its stripes dark in the dimming light, steps forward, its movements deliberate. It moves with them, blending into the procession as though it is part of the herd, though it is not. The young zebra is left to wonder, is this the answer to the strange encounter? Or is it another mystery in a world that never reveals its truths so easily? The procession continues as the light of the day finally fades, leaving only the silhouettes of the elephants and the distant shapes of the zebras. The lion's roar fades into the distance, but the mystery remains, lingering in the air like the last breath of twilight. The young zebra watches as the procession moves further into the darkness, its heart still racing. The deep thrum of the elephant's steps seems to resonate through its own body, reminding it that this world, this Savannah, is far more complex than it ever understood. Survival is not just about running fast or being sharp. It's about understanding the rhythms of the earth, the ancient patterns that govern all life. The zebra takes a deep breath, its body still tense but beginning to relax. And as the last light of the day fades, the young zebra makes a quiet decision. It follows. It steps into the shadow of the elephants, the unknown, the mysterious rhythm of the night. For in this vast and unpredictable world, survival is not just about escaping danger. It's about understanding when to stand still and when to move with the dance of life itself. The dance of the zebras. And as the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, the young zebra, no longer a solitary figure in the dark, joins the ancient march, becoming part of the rhythm, part of the mystery, at least for tonight. The night wraps around the young zebra like a cloak, the last vestiges of daylight swallowed whole by the vast African sky. The elephants' rhythmic march continues, their massive feet stirring the dust beneath them, each step creating a deep, resonating thrum that seems to echo through the very ground. The zebra follows in silence, its body tense, but its mind caught in the spell of the ancient procession. The figures of the elephants grow more defined in the growing darkness, their movements almost hypnotic as they glide through the savannah, an unstoppable force. The zebra, though smaller and lighter, finds a strange comfort in their company. The elephants are the true giants of this world. Their presence is both awe-inspiring and reassuring, and for the first time since it had fled from the lion, the young zebra feels an odd sense of security, even in the pitch black of the night. As the procession moves deeper into the savannah, the forest starts to thin out, revealing a wide, open plain. Here the stars above are clearer, their twinkling points of light scattered like diamonds across the velvety sky. The wind shifts again, bringing the scent of fresh grass and the distant, haunting calls of nocturnal creatures. Yet, among these familiar sounds, there's something else. A faint, almost imperceptible rumble, not from the elephants, but from the earth itself. The zebra's ears prick up, and it halts mid-step, feeling a sudden unease stir in its chest. The elephants continue onward, unperturbed by the growing rumble beneath them. But the zebra, now standing alone at the edge of the procession, senses that something is wrong. The earth beneath its hooves vibrates more intensely now, the thrum traveling up its legs into its body, a low, deep hum. The young zebra looks around, its body tense, ready to bolt at a moment's notice. And then it sees it. Out of the corner of its eye, something moves in the distance, a shadow darker than the night itself. The shape is huge, larger than any lion, larger than any animal the zebra has ever seen. The shape is almost intangible, blending with the night, but there's no mistaking its size, its power. The rumble increases in intensity, and the zebra's heart races again. It turns back to look at the elephants. Still oblivious, they continue their march, their great bodies unfazed by the growing tension in the air. The zebra takes a step forward toward the elephants, but it feels an unshakable pull in the opposite direction, towards the unknown shadow in the distance. It's not fear that compels it now. It's curiosity, a need to understand the source of the deep, throbbing hum. Suddenly, the shadow moves closer, and the zebra freezes, eyes wide. It's not a single creature. It's a herd, a massive herd of some unknown, unseen animal moving with a purpose, yet hidden in the darkness. The zebra can feel the earth itself groaning under their weight. The tension in the air thickens as the distant herd draws near. But the elephants, steady in their march, seem unaware of the looming presence that threatens their very existence. The zebra, still paralyzed by the growing uncertainty, watches the herd's movement carefully. It sees that their strides are not random, but deliberate, almost like a coordinated, synchronized dance. The rumble intensifies until it seems to reverberate through the zebra's entire body. And then, as if in response to the zebra's thoughts, the massive herd breaks from the shadows, flooding into the open plains, the ground shaking under their thundering charge. The young zebra's heart skips a beat, and for the first time it sees them, majestic, towering, and unknowable. Giant herds of wildebeests, their bodies moving in seamless unity, their mass so great it seems to absorb the very light of the stars above. The zebra's eyes widen in realization. This is no ordinary migration. The herd is not just crossing the plains, they are moving with intent, pushing forward with an energy that transcends instinct. They are preparing for something. For a moment, time itself seems to freeze. The young zebra watches, paralyzed by the sight of the massive wildebeests, their movements precise and methodical. It feels an overwhelming surge of fear. Fear not of the predators, not of the threats it has learned to run from, but of the incredible, unpredictable power that this herd carries with it. This is not just a migration. This is a force of nature, and it is unstoppable. The zebras, once solitary, find themselves caught in the tide of the herd's unyielding motion. The young zebra glances toward the elephants. They are still moving, still calm, as though nothing has changed. The zebra's gaze returns to the wildebeests as they surge across the open plain, their bodies a tidal wave of movement, their presence so overpowering that even the darkness seems to retreat in fear.